First, hello, I'm John Bachman. That just released report from the Senate Intelligence Committee says the CIA interrogations were outside the law and ineffective in tracking down terrorists after 9/11. Most members of the GOP have blasted the report and called it politically motivated. But today, Arizona Republican Senator John McCain is praising the committee's findings.
Torture produces more misleading information than actionable intelligence. The most important lead we got in the search for bin Laden came from using conventional interrogation methods.
Of course, as you remember, John McCain was tortured after he was shot down in Vietnam. Meanwhile, U.S. government installations around the world remain on high alert. The Canadian embassy, meantime, in Cairo, Egypt, has closed for the day due to security concerns. Secretary of State John Kerry tried to get the release of the report delayed. Maybe that's because he's also on Capitol Hill today talking to the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the ongoing fight against ISIS. Kerry says past congressional military authorizations given to President Bush in 2001 and 2003 are valid for President Obama to use to fight ISIS. The next chairman of that committee, though, Senator Bob Corker, says President Obama needs new authorization from Congress to continue the fight. Meantime, the outgoing Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel continues his Mideast trip today in Iraq. Iraq's government has been asking for Hagel for more air power and weapons as they continue to struggle against ISIS militants. Also on Capitol Hill today, the man many consider to be one of the chief architects of Obamacare, MIT professor Jonathan Gruber, facing tough questions from the House Oversight Committee after saying that the lack of transparency around Obamacare and, quote, the stupidity of the American voter were critical to getting that law passed. Well, today he apologized for those comments and disagrees with his portrayal as the creator of the legislation. But House Oversight Committee Chairman Darrell Issa insists Gruber was instrumental in getting that law passed. Well, the New York Police Department posted extra officers around houses of worship this afternoon after a man stabbed an Israeli student at a synagogue earlier this morning.
This was an isolated incident that at this point appears to involve an individual who is known to the New York City Police Department, has a history of being an emotionally disturbed person.
Well, officials with the NYPD say Calvin Peters, who you see here on this cell phone video, entered the synagogue this morning before 2 o'clock, stabbed 22-year-old Rosenblatt in the head. Well, police arrived on the scene there and shot and killed Peters after he refused to drop his knife and then lunged at an officer. And NASA's new Orion spacecraft returns to dry land today after a test flight around the Earth. Orion successfully launched on Friday, made 2 loops around the world, and then fell back to Earth, plunging into the ocean about 600 miles southwest of San Diego, where the USS Anchorage picked it up. That spacecraft could one day maybe send U.S. astronauts to Mars. And maybe you can help identify the owner of this ring. Kevin Cobb found this ring in Virginia. It belongs to a Navy officer. He's asking for help on Facebook, trying to track down the owner. Another update coming up for you in 30 minutes.